Unlearning is the new core competence. What is unlearning about? It is very much about this. This is no longer needed, but it's there. I can retrieve it. Speaking of unlearning, to me is pretty difficult because I spent my life teaching people. So, I'm teaching their learning. So now I'm kind of supposed to talk about unteaching, unlearning. Unlearning is not forgetting. Unlearning is not knowing less. Unlearning is very much about being selective. If you look for the opposite word for learning, that wouldn't be unlearning, that would be ignorance. You don't know. Unlearning is very much about letting things go. Things that at some point were important for you. Like this text. No longer important, no longer valid, but still there. What you can see is one logo. One could say this is a logo of a huge loser. Kodak Company. Years back, a powerful, huge business with long, over 100 years old tradition. What happened to them? They did not benefit from digital revolution. One could say it's normal stuff. I mean, they simply lacked innovation. No, they did not. Which company actually invented the first digital camera? Yeah, your guess is correct. That was Kodak. But since they've made their success on films, they didn't pursue that. At some point, they were unable to detach. They were unable to detach from what they made them great at one point of time. Because the greatest thing, the most difficult thing, is actually being able to let go what made you successful at some point. Why is it so hard? People are, creatures of habit. That's one explanation. But there is a deeper explanation. The explanation that makes it actually more difficult. When you look at people who learned a lot over their life, senior professors, experienced managers, good old doctors, they perceive their knowledge and their experience as part of their identity. My experience is, to a great extent, what I am. If the reality screams to these people, your method doesn't work anymore, what they hear is, you are not this great person anymore. I was encouraged to take part here in this event. Someone told me, you're a good speaker. Perhaps I am. You listen to me, so yeah, I am. But what if people stop listening? What if they stop wanting to listen? That would be hard for me. A part of my identity, a part of me being able to, charm you, razzle dazzle you with my words would be gone. That's tough. That's difficult. Kodak suffered from that. He said, we are so great at films, we can't let it go. Let it go. Like that. Perhaps not like that, I missed this beam. What is more? For organizations, unlearning must be a procedure, not goodwill, not voluntary activity. From organizational point of view, we cannot rely on some people willing to take this effort to change themselves. It's not only the mindset. We need routines. The best possible example that I can think of are surgical checklists. When there is an operation going on, the surgeon is the central person. He's the leader. Or other people are kind of minor comparing to him or her. Surgical checklists are composed of a number of seemingly silly questions, questions that must be answered by the whole team. Starting with, do we have the right patient on the table? Is it really the right leg that we need to cut off? And they all go by tick, tick, tick. That may seem funny, but actually, it turns out that introducing such surgical checklists reduced the number of deaths on the operational table by half. By 30%, it reduced severe complications after the operation. It's all about ability to correct the error before it actually brings grave consequences. It made it possible for a nurse to say, I will not tick that. It was supposed to be the left leg, not the right one. Don't cut it yet. Okay. It takes a much better expert on an eye to dwell on the relations between AI, learning and unlearning. From my very small experience and from some knowledge that I have, I'd say AI makes unlearning even more important than ever, because from my perspective, AI is about two things: the speed and the qualitative changes. The speed, we know that labor market changes, evolves. Yeah, we know that. It's kind of true from starting from Industrial Revolution or even earlier. But AI makes those changes absolutely fast. And if we know that by 2030, like 40% of workers would have to change their core skills to remain employable, then unlearning seems to be a must. Second of all, qualitative changes. In many professions, professors included, we are still judged by old skills. Do you know how to write a scientific article? Do you know how to write it properly in English, especially if this English is not your first language? AI changes that. If my English is not that great, it may help me. It may even create parts of the text. The burden of responsibility, which is still placed upon me, is to guarantee the quality. Let's go to universities. We are at one. Universities, and that is an obvious thing to say, are built for learning. Everyone knows that. We may not realize, but actually, universities are also built for unlearning. Skepticism. One of the major features of scientific method. There is no holy book in science. You can challenge any view, you can challenge any position. You don't like the idea that the earth is round? Feel free to challenge that. Universities should be able to facilitate unlearning, but they struggle with their own limitations. We've got disciplinary silos. I'm an economist. That's my science, like religion. Everything else is wrong. We've got our paradigms, sets of rules, beliefs, assumptions that stay with us for such a long time, in many cases, far too long. Science must be not just accumulation of answers. It's about updating the questions that we ask. There is more to that. We all know that many research results turn out to be highly unlikely to be reproduced. Why is it so? This is probably because at some point we started to mistake prestige with being right, with quality of academic work. We started to mistake citations for importance. We have, as academia, we have this problem of trying to link what is the easiest to measure with what is the most important for science. So we have those evaluations, and every university will be evaluated according to some rules. And how else can be academics evaluated if not according to the same criteria? Numbers cannot tell you the full story. Universities must understand that if they are still to be built for unlearning. Unlearning must be a conscious strategy, not voluntary activity of some single people. And within this strategic view, we need to find the ways of saying, okay, this is the certainty, this is the knowledge that we stick to, this is the knowledge that we abandon. And remember, unlearning is not about forgetting. You may forget this TEDx. You may forget what I said here. But I wouldn't like you to forget the 3 main takeaways I would like you to take with you. Try to ask yourself the following question. What belief would I be embarrassed to change? What belief is so deeply part of me that letting it go, like let go those papers, letting it go would harm me, would make me incomplete? Which belief is part of me so much that I cannot say goodbye to this belief? Because if you find it, this is probably the belief that controls you most. Second of all, ask yourself, what success am I over repeating? What comes from my past has such a significant impact on me nowadays, now, at present, and also probably in the future? Because your experience and your success history at some point may become a huge burden. And the third thing you should ask yourself is, what would an intelligent newcomer question immediately in my organization, in my work, at my university? Because if someone has a question, when someone new challenges what they see, and you are tempted to say, oh, you're too new to that, you will understand. That is a big red light here. Because this person speaks without the burden of the experience. And that might be incredibly valuable. If you have anything to do with the university, if you have any power to change the university, make it a good place for unlearning. It's going to be a great university. Thank you.